Hi, welcome back to Riding with Gravity. This is the Deuce on Gravity, and today we're going into downtown St. Paul, and I wanted to talk a little bit. This is a tip for some new riders, just ways to be seen. So as a new rider, we have so many things that we're learning and practicing and everything, but it is really important for safety purposes to try to be as seen as possible. So what are some things you can do? Well, you can put a different colored light on your motorcycle. So like maybe swap out the headlight for something that's like a bright yellow. I think Moto Jitsu had talked about that, putting a bright yellow light on one of his motorcycles, and what that did for him. So shout out, because that's a great tip. Obviously there's gear, right? So to wear some brightly colored gear, either your jacket or your helmet, something that will stand out, that obviously makes a big difference. But there's some other things you could do when you're riding too that help, right? So you can flash your lights. On the left hand side there's a control for that, so just go ahead. If you need to, you can flash your lights. Of course, in addition to being seen, you can be heard. Isn't that beautiful? This is just beautiful. This is the Mississippi again. Just gorgeous in downtown St. Paul. Anyway, you can do a little swerve, like just do a little swerve. That'll help people know that you're around. People are more prone to see objects that are changing directions, and so if you're going in a straight line, you're not quite as visible. So doing something like this, can also increase visibility. So maybe around within your own comfort, just be aware you could do a little swerve, and that'll help. So flashing the lights, do a little swerve. For folks behind you, just go ahead and tap your rear brake. That rear brake is not super powerful. You don't have to worry about grabbing too much brake. If you did it with your front brake, just to flash your brakes to let people know you're there. The problem that you might have if you do that with your front brake is that it's a more powerful brake, and you don't want to grab a bunch of front brake when your intention is really just to show the people behind you that you're there. And so a good practice is to just tap that rear brake, and that'll kind of, again, it'll flash and you'll let people know that you're there. That is something that I do sometimes, not just when I'm slowing down, or things like that, but I'll also do that if I'm at a standstill like this, right? Right now I have my rear brake pressed with my right foot, so I always do left foot down and right foot on the rear brake. But the thing is, then you just have the solid rear brake. If you see a car coming up behind you or something like that, you may just want to tap on that brake to let them know that you're there. It's just one more signal, and then you won't, hopefully then it means that you won't have you'll have a less chance of being rear-ended, right? So that's another one. And just again, I think the other thing around this whole thing is lights. So it's not just the flashing the front light or the rear brake, tapping the rear brake, but your turn signals. Those turn signals can really help. So get in the habit of using your turn signals. When I was first learning how to ride, that was one thing that I just wanted to be automatic for me. And so even when I was just going around the block, I was very intentional about telling myself, okay, put the signal on, come to a stop, make your turn, get going, turn the signal off. And that was just something I wanted ingrained in me from the very beginning, because I didn't want to have to deal with trying to remember. Usually if I forget to turn it off, but at least I turned it on. So just think about those things. What can make me be heard? What can make me be seen? Bright clothes, flashing your front headlight, tapping your rear brake, using those turn signals, and giving a little swerve. Let people know that you're there. And then the other is just make sure that you're paying attention. I guess the final one that I can think of off the top of my head is just make sure that you're paying really good attention to your lane position, because you want to be in a lane position where you are increasing your visibility as best you can, right? So always think about that. That rule of nobody can see you and everyone's trying to kill you is a really good rule for motorcycles. And then the question for you is, what can I do to counteract that? What are all the different ways that I can make sure that I am seen and that I have a good lane position to make escapes if I need to, but I'm increasing my visibility by selecting my lane position as best I can. So anyway, this is downtown St. Paul. It's pretty cool.